Six, in the interest of the Lockhart child, everybody's going to testify. Please raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, a status hearing. Sorry, I'm looking hot in my office. My pens are dying on me. Starting out a great day. Status hearing. Let's see, is Miss reports. Looks like Miss Huffman has decided to not do anything. She wants to relinquish.
Not anymore, Judge. That's changed.
Oh, okay. Where is she though?
I spoke with her last night. She confirmed she was going to be here, confirmed she had the information. I've just texted her this morning, Judge.
Somebody named Anthony is in the waiting room also. Well, Mom's not here, so that didn't show me a whole lot. Let's see. I saw Mr. Clippa was in the waiting room. Now
He's here, Judge. He's in.
I think everybody's just waiting on DNA on Mr. Clippa. What's the status of that, Mr. Manning?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Clippa was kind enough to pay for that out of pocket this week.
Right.
The email I got yesterday or the day before yesterday said it should be about 2 to 3 business days for that result to come back. So I expect it either this afternoon or tomorrow.
Okay.
Your Honor, I just spoke to my client. She should be dialing in momentarily.
Okay, let me see what looks like. Dean is doing well at his local foster home, sort of locally, but y'all are looking into a maternal aunt and uncle, and I see the uncles here. So, Miss Early, what do you need today?
Judge, I don't need anything else unless the department does. So if I can ask our caseworker if there's anything we need aside from what's in the report.
No, ma'am, not at this time. We're just waiting for an order to get David Lockhart's DNA, and then following that, it's his wish to relinquish his parental rights.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, Mr. Manning. David Lockhart's DNA or Mr. Clippa's DNA?
David Lockhart's.
I don't
Is
think
either
that
one-
was ordered, Judge. I think we had ordered Mr. Clippa's DNA because Mr. Lockhart claimed he was not the father.
Whose DNA that got taken, Mr. Manning?
Can you repeat that, Your Honor? I didn't hear you.
Who did DNA testing?
Jaron Clippa paid for it out of pocket.
Okay.
If
I
you
think
So
the
we need
concern
to
is
see
that
him first, and then, I mean, we're seeing him, and then we're gonna figure out about Mr. Lockhart.
Yes.
Mr. Lockhart's on the birth certificate, Your Honor, is the only concern.
Okay. So it's just a ruling out, right?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. What else, Miss Early?
I
That's
have
it?
nothing else, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Manning, did the mother do a hair strand or a nail test?
Yes, ma'am, she did. I have the court report here. I can tell you the date of that.
Just
That
tell me
time,
the results.
hair strand was positive for marijuana with a level of 0.5.
Okay.
Like Becky said, she wishes to resume services, so we are gonna resubmit her for a hair strand and another UA, and I'll get
Good.
those orders out today or tomorrow.
Great. What about hair strand on Dean?
Dean's hair strand was negative for all substances.
That's wonderful. Great. Okay, has he had an ECI evaluation?
He's had one ECI evaluation for his hearing and there's another one scheduled for his speech. They say that he might have a slight speech delay. He's also got an upcoming appointment. Foster parents didn't know the exact date yesterday for a neurology consultation to rule out fetal alcohol syndrome. And then he'll have another appointment with a urologist. He has a little abnormality to check out.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad everybody's on it. That's good. Mom's testing is to include alcohol. We got visit with decreasing marijuana levels after she submitted to her hair strand with low marijuana levels, so that's good. Okay, Miss Lane, what do you need?
So Judge, once again, she may be trying to get into that the hearing, but whatever. Yes, and Cole, thank you for modifying that. I know the reports, both CASA and the department indicated she was interested in relinquishing. She is very satisfied that the placement's being considered with her brother Anthony. And ultimately, she thinks that that's going to be the long-term best answer solution, but she definitely wants to be a part of the child's life. Cole has explained to her what that takes and what that means. So I believe he's going to be working on services in Travis County for her because that's where she's living now. She did say she did some drug testing before she moved up to Austin. So I'm hoping she'll get compliant again. She provided some diapers. I gave them to Miss Amy when she was in my office one day. She has a number of items that still have labels on them. She'd like to pass along. I told her to get with Amy or Cole or myself, and we'll see if they'll be acceptable to pass on to Dean. She is going to continue to do that at this time. And she's excited about getting to visit. And Judge, we are going to ask, you know, it is marijuana is our issue. She is going to go for her hair strand, but if we can just get, you know, 2 UAs with decreasing levels, let her start visiting again with supervision.
Okay, Ms. Potts, what is your client need? I guess he's hanging tight till we get those DNA results, huh?
Yes, Your Honor, we're doing good. He's keeping in touch with Mr. Manning and we're just waiting on the results. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Keller, anything that's not in the report?
Your Honor, I feel strongly that that Elizabeth needs to have the drug-free testing before she starts visitation again. She disappeared basically and has said she wasn't going to do her services, and I think she really needs to prove that she's working on this before we add more turmoil to Dean's life.
Okay, I got that taken care of. Thank you. Ms. Wright?
Judge, I would agree with Miss Keller. Mom was pretty, it wasn't just a no, it was like a very adamant, I'm not going to do services, leave me alone kind of thing. So I do think she needs to have clean drug testing before we introduce her back into Dean's life. And then if she's going to fall away again, I just hate to upset him there, but he's doing well in his placement and they just adore him.
The uncle, is he live in Texas or is he out of state?
He lives in Texas. He's in Lumberton.
Oh, man, I have a friend whose mother lives in Lumberton. I was talking about her last night. That's funny. That's pretty weird. That's a little town, but I heard it twice in like 10 hours, 8 hours. That's crazy. Miss Masuda, yes.
I just wanted to add that Mr. Uncle Anthony is going, he and his wife are going to come here soon. I think it's the 2nd and 3rd of April for a visit with Dean. So we're going to get that, go ahead and get that started so they can start a relationship.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the orders. The service plan is approved and made order of the court. Miss Huffman can visit after she becomes service plan compliant and 3 clean consecutive UAs that include alcohol. Placement as agreed by CPS and ad litems. Everybody get out their pens for here's our scheduling.
Your Honor, just for clarification, as the 3, you say clean UAs, they are marijuana and they're going to be testing weekly. So if we can just get them down in decreasing levels with no alcohol.
No. I mean, no.
Okay, 100%. Got it.
100%.
Okay.
I mean, you know, she's all across the board. She needs to not be doing anything.
Okay.
So we need to see her commitment. I already ordered with prior on 2/9/23. I already ordered decreasing marijuana levels. So you know what? If she was doing the right thing by 2/9/23, she wouldn't be smoking any dope.
And Judge,
Sorry.
I have a question for you. If Mr. Klippa's DNA comes back and Dean is his child, do you want us to come back for further orders on how to proceed on that, or do you want it to be just at the agreement of the ad litems in the department?
That's fine.
Okay.
I'll just put that in the order. Mr. Klippa visit her CPS and ad litems. Okay.
Your Honor, can we do visit/placement as agreed by CPS and ad litems?
I think
Okay.
we would ask for a hearing on placement because of some allegations made by the mother against Mr. Klippa about his suitability to be.
You know what?
a
If y'all
father.
don't agree, then obviously we're gonna have a hearing. So. I'm
Okay.
gonna work that right now. Okay, yeah, and y'all, everybody agreed to Zoom. Okay, well, y'all, I'll be looking for email. Mr. Clifford, thank you for doing that. That's great. And appreciate you doing it so early in the case. Sometimes people wait to the very end, or we find out about a dad at the very end, and we're like, oh, great, what do we do now? So that, I mean, I hope this works out the way you want it to. And Ms. Potts will let us know, okay? When you find out, you let Ms. Potts know, and she'll, need to get copies, get it filed, all that kind of stuff, okay? Okay, well, good luck. Excuse me?
I said yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, good luck to everybody, and I'll see y'all, I hope not before 6:22, but we'll see. Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
thank you. Okay, looks like it's a status hearing. Mr. Vessels and Mr. Shane are here. Looks like there's an elected father named Mr. Kennedy, Sean Kennedy, I think, and he is doing DNA. Do we have those results back yet?
No, ma'am. I purchased like you can do yourself at home test. So we can try to get the process rolling before we get the DNA test from OAG.
And we just sent that off. Sandy went and purchased it. We're going to get the welfare board to reimburse us, but we just mailed it off to him and he's willing to take it. And get the
Yes,
result back.
yesterday.
Okay, yeah, otherwise, heck, who knows when it would be. Good,
Yeah.
good. That'll work out well. That's Mr. Kennedy that I see on the screen. Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
These kids are in a shelter, Your Honor, which, unless the shelter is agreeing to an extension or something. And so we're trying to move quickly.
Okay, good. They're at the good shelter in Round Rock though, aren't they?
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that shelter. They're very
Yeah.
good with them.
Yeah. And they seem to be doing well there.
Absolutely.
A couple things that I noticed from the reports that I want to talk about, and one of them, of course, I can't read my writing now, imagine that, is that the children have some personal effects, I think, that they're not being able to get, that I don't understand that. And parents, y'all need to understand that you're in a CPS case. Anytime CPS, ad litems, obviously Miss Lang's in ad litem, CASA, anybody wants to come in your house 24/7, if we want to have a field trip over there one day, your house is subject to examination anytime. So you can't say you can't come over now. So that's a problem with I had. I think, is this the case? I didn't write it down, but let me see. I had a problem in one of these cases today with kinship fund.
It's not this one.
Oh, that's McCarran. That's right. Okay. Kind of run together a little bit sometimes. Okay. So we need to talk about that. So that being said, Miss Early, what do you need today?
Judge, I don't need anything, but let me ask our caseworker if there's anything additional that she needs at this time.
Thank you. No, everything that we discussed through the family group conference is the only thing that we're requesting at this time.
Okay. Anything else, Miss Early?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Miss
Will-
Greenberg, what do you need?
I just wanted to put it on the record that unless evidence to the contrary is provided, that the department is not going to be recommending family reunification with Mr. Shane or Mr. Vessels. Just wanted to throw that out there, even though we did create a service plan for them. It is in the event that they have future children or around children in the future to kind of help them out that situation going forward. I just wanted to make sure that was on, kind of noted before the court today.
I read it about 3 times in the reports too, right?
Yes, it's in.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Anybody have any questions of Ms. Lancaster or Ms. Greenberg? Okay.
Yes, Judge.
And also for the record, I noted that Mr. Kennedy is here today. Thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Judge, I just had a quick question.
Hold on. I don't know what's on your shirt, Mr. Kennedy, being in Oklahoma, but it kind of looks like a Longhorn. So I got to give you a little bit of credit there. That's good. I don't know if it is a Longhorn, but from, my eyes are kind of tainted, so anyway. Ms. Harris, did you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask Ms. Lancaster if she has been able to meet with my client and go over the service plan.
I have.
And she has signed it and said that she understands?
Yes, ma'am.
That's all, Judge.
I thought somewhere in the report it said, maybe it was the other case, I thought it said that the parents, on advice of counsel, they weren't being able to confer with the department.
On the psychosexual
Okay.
evaluation, that they were advised by their counsels not to do those.
Okay, I understand. Okay, thank you. Anything else, Ms. Harris?
No questions, Judge.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, Ms. Harris, any witnesses?
No, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Phelps, any witnesses?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Ms. Peterson, anything you would like to add that's not in the report?
No, not really. We're there are still some things, some items that our girls want to get from home that mom and dad are unwilling to let go of, at least at the last time that we've been talking to them. We'd like to get those.
Tell me what they are.
There's a black light, there's some cosplay stuff. And
What?
It's called like comic, you dress up like something out of a comic book.
Costumes.
It's costume play.
Well, yeah, you need to go to a Comic Con to get the idea. At any
Absolutely
rate,
not. Absolutely not. But okay, keep going.
they also each have body pillows, and they would very much like to have those. Basically, Zoe's comment was, "I want my stuff."
Okay.
Think all their stuff.
I want the stuff. They
Clothing,
want their
everything.
stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And of course,
y'all, one at a time. Ms. Peterson, keep going.
oh, I'm so sorry. No, to keep things going as they are. I would love to see therapy in person rather than online, but I know how hard that is. So we'll take online for now. Just that, and of course, I got bumped out for a minute, so I didn't hear if there was a conversation about Mr. Kennedy getting the DNA testing. But that does need to
They're
happen.
on it. They're on it. Good.
Yeah, I figured.
Yes.
I think that's about it, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Peterson. Ms. Lancaster, something about the girl stuff.
Yeah, I did talk to Alicia, and she did say she was going to get everything together for me, because I asked her if she can get some more clothes so they didn't have to wear the same thing over and over again. She did say the cosplay was very expensive, so she doesn't want to send it to, the shelter and it get ruined, but she was willing to get all the rest of the stuff for me. And once she gets it done, she's supposed to contact me so I can go get it or meet up somewhere.
Why don't we buy the girls new body pillows?
That'd be good to me.
I don't think that that's too much to ask. And I think with some of the lawyers on this case that we could get some money together, or CASA might have some at their office. I mean, I think that I have one, but I use it. So I know that the girls are probably, I would rather the girls have new stuff, but I think, I think we can go to Ross or Tuesday Morning or Walmart and get them body pillows. I think that would be, get them some new something. I think that'd be really cool.
Happy to do that.
Okay.
And I think the Child Welfare Board would be more than willing to help out in that venture.
Blanco County Child Welfare Board is a bomb.
Yes, they are.
Okay.
We'll do that.
I have no.
Hold on, Miss Harris, she wants to talk.
I think she's just letting you know that she has no problem handing over stuff, Your Honor.
Okay.
That and buying the kids new body pillows.
Okay.
They are still my children.
Here's what I want to do. I want you to buy them some new clothes, And I want the group here to buy them new body pillows so they know they have some cool stuff from the parents and they have something from our group too, okay?
Okay.
I think that would be, that I like to get presents from two people, So, Miss Masuda?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to add that on the cosplay costumes, I realize that they're expensive, but we are also holding the Switch and the games at Casa in a locked cabinet, and we're definitely happy to lock up the costumes until they get to a permanent placement. I don't see any reason why we can't do that, just like we did with the expensive games. And the other thing that Zoe had requested was her black light.
Yes.
So
That's fine.
I just have to find it.
And I don't know if, who knows if shelters are going to let kids have, the costumes or the Switch or the black light too.
And they may not, right?
I agree with you. And Ms. Masuda, when y'all get these things, I want y'all to make an inventory because
Exactly.
when they go to foster placement, I don't want, things get lost there too. And I want to make sure that everything's accountable. Okay.
We
Yes,
did
ma'am.
make an inventory of all the games and everything in there. Mr. Vidler is the keeper of all that, so he's got it under control.
And they did send us all a copy of what they have, so we all know what they have as well.
Okay. Well, then we'll need to get the same thing with the costumes too. Okay.
Your Honor,
Thank you, Judge.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Harris?
Your Honor, I'm asking that they not be required to hand over the costumes at this time. This is not an opportunity for the department to go and confiscate everything these parents have ever bought these children. I understand they should have their belongings. They're in a shelter right now where they can't use those things. These parents are working towards having visits. That could be something that the parents take to them when they get to visit them in the future, when the children are in a place where they're able to use them. So I don't think this should be a mission to take absolutely everything the girls had. These parents still have a right to work towards reunification.
And I would just say that if those things are important to the children and they're in a shelter and they have very little of their own things, it's important for them to know that they're in a safe place where they can get them at a future point. So.
Ms. Lang?
Thank you, Judge. I am new to this side of the argument with regards to situations like this, but what Ms. Harris brings up is just really on point with my question and concern. I did visit with the girls on the 20th. The shelter is a full house right now, by the way, but it's doing a very good job. They're very content and happy, but they both told me, they said, we are never going home. And we're just at the status hearing. And so I'm like, what makes you think that? And they said that they've been told that by the other parties that are visiting with them. And so I don't know that that's a normal way to handle talking to kids in CPS cases. But I didn't tell them to say that. That's exactly what they told me they were told by the other, that I'm not going to quote anybody, people can figure that out. But they were, in fact, Zoe went through a list of, okay, when y'all are looking for me a new home, I want you to find somebody that's kind and nurturing and going to pay for my phone, and they're going to take us to do fun things. So I don't know that that's, I just need guidance from the court, and I think we all need to get on the same sheet of music. I did not have that conversation with them. I listened to them, and we went from there. I do have another number of other items to add to our list. Zoe would like her violin and her stuffed animals, and Emma would like.
Hold on, I'm not going to talk about all the stuff now.
Okay.
Make the list, circulate it, and
Got
talk to parents about it. I understand where Miss Harris is coming from, but I also understand these kids are displaced, and I can't imagine how that feels. And the more there's stuff around them to make them feel secure, I got that too. Now, whoever's telling the kids they're never going home, y'all need to be quiet. That is a huge violation of the Children's Bill of Rights. I do not like that. That doesn't make me happy. We don't know that. I'm the judge. I will make those decisions, and I don't know that. This is only our second hearing. Well, it's our third hearing, really, but statutorily wise, this is only our second hearing. So be quiet. The girls don't need to know that. And especially if that's what the girls think, and then we start parental visitation. How weird is that? You know, I don't get that. So zip it, who's ever saying that. If it's the shelter, which I don't imagine, tell them to be quiet. They don't know. Nobody knows. Crystal ball doesn't know. So, I mean, especially we don't know what Mr. Kennedy's deal is, you know? So hold on just a second. Okay, anybody else?
I have a couple more things, Judge. I need you to know, these are my clients. Emma wants to see her mother and she wants to see her dad. And they both want to have contact with Aunt Wanda if it's approved and they understand it need to be supervised. Aunt Wanda is like a great aunt, I believe. She's loving and nurturing according to them. They both were very interested because I didn't plan any names. I said, is there anybody in your family, you know, that you want to be in contact with? Anybody and they definitely, Zoe's interested to see Sean's results on his DNA and open to within a therapeutic environment, getting to know Sean. So that's all I have, Judge.
Okay, I'm just gonna say business has agreed by CPS and Enlighten. That means parents, that means aunt, that means whoever.
Your Honor.
I think an aunt would be a great idea. How come aunt doesn't want placement?
Because we all live on the same property.
Oh, okay. Ms. Harris, yes, ma'am.
I would ask that you not make the visitation as agreed by the parties. The department's made it extremely clear they plan to have no contact with my client whatsoever. We'll just be coming back for another hearing. I haven't heard anything about recommendations from therapists. I don't know that they're even trying to get that. The children have expressed their wishes. I would ask that you make an order regarding that. Along the same line, the department saying that they don't ever intend to return these children. I think it's really skating the lines of the law. They keep adding the unless there's a major change. But Your Honor, they're required to create a service plan that's going to lead to the children being reunited and to have made their plan very clear that they don't ever intend to comply with the law, I think is just really skating the lines.
Okay, Ms. Harris, here's what I'm going to say. I'm just going to keep it business as agreed by CPS and items, and I'm going to add a therapist recommendation. But here's the deal. If we get to the point that we have a therapist recommendation or, you know, girls are really, really wanting to see him, just set a hearing, Ms. Harris. We can have a hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd rather do that right now because, I mean, I'm not just including parents. Like I said, I'm saying the aunt. And, you know, if Mr. Kennedy's does pan out to be, you know, the DNA is not positive. It's not the right word, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
It's a match.
A match, yeah. My brain isn't working this morning. You know, then we're going to have to start incorporating Mr. Kennedy into the thing case too. So there you go. Ms. Masuda, yes, we're almost out of time.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that one of the main reasons that we object to visits also is that the people that live on the property, the aunt and the grandmother and the mother have all been very vocal about calling Zoe a liar. And I just think that that's completely inappropriate for them to verbalize that, feel that way, and then at the same time say, oh, we want to see them. So we've got some work to do in this case therapeutically with all concerned, and it would be real helpful if parents would start engaging in therapy.
Yeah, because they're probably not going to get business until they engage in therapy. I would imagine therapists would recommend it. Yes, Ms. Early.
Judge, we have one more request from the department when you're able to hear that.
I'm ready.
We know it's in the service plan, but the department would like you to make an order requiring the parents to do a psychosexual.
Ms. Early, what's the status of criminal charges, if any?
Judge, I have not heard of any criminal charges being filed at this time. Of course, it's would be with the district attorney's office. I can follow up and find out if it's being reviewed at this time, but I have no information about any charges going forward.
And Your Honor, you'll recall that they kept the CAC interviews away from me because they said there was an ongoing investigation. So I think they're kind of double dipping here, saying that there's stuff going on that I can't get stuff, and then saying, well, maybe not. So we should make them violate their own constitutional rights.
Hey, Miss Harris, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, I got it. I mean, there got to be a pair. I mean, I think I said to some of y'all, or maybe it was an email, or I'm being a smart aleck. No, something. But I mean, this isn't a drug case. We're not waiting for lab results. This isn't an ongoing. Either it happened and it gets indicted, or it happened and it doesn't get indicted, or it didn't happen. I mean, what more do you need to do to decide? Miss Early, you might want to tell them, okay, we had the TMC date was 1/13. By our next hearing of 6/22, if they don't have their minds made up, I'm going to order distribution, everybody can watch the CACs and blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Judge, I'll be following up.
Because that's 5 months, and, I mean, I don't know how often do y'all have grand jury down there?
It's every other month.
Okay. So it's not every month. So it's not like crazy, or every week or something like some counties. So, okay. Ms. Harris, remind us about that at the next hearing. Okay.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy, you can unmute yourself. Anything you need other than get your packet in the mail and follow the instructions and all that?
No, I don't need anything at this time. I'm just making my way there to get it done.
Okay, thank you. Okay, keep us in the loop. Parents and Mr. Kennedy, if you're determined to be Zoe's father, y'all have service plans. You have to comply, or your parental rights will be subject to termination. My understanding that Ms. Lancaster is going to get with the parents and about the stuff, and we'll make a plan in that regard. If we need to keep stuff at CASA, they will do an inventory of what they're holding. The parents, mom and Mr. Vessels, are to submit to a psychosexual exam. Mr. Kennedy's doing his DNA, and the department sent him the kit. Placement is agreed by CPS and ad-litem's. Visits as agreed by CPS, ad-litem's, and therapist recommendation. I don't think I need to say this, but y'all know I don't want those girls split up. Y'all don't either, right?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure. Okay. Okay, well, good luck to everybody. Lots going on. Let me ask a question. Ms. Early, at the 2-1 hearing, Ms. DeShane said something about UCCJEA out of Nevada.
Yes, Judge. We are still looking into those cases. It's been a little bit difficult to find some of these cases, in not just this case, but we had another one as well. We haven't located anything just yet in the way of another case.
Okay, Mr. Kennedy, prior to this case, had you ever been to court involving Zoe?
Involving Zoe, there was the first child support hearing.
And where was that?
It was over the phone. I believe it was within the state of Nevada.
Okay, do you know what county?
Ely, Nevada.
It
Ely,
would be
Nevada.
White Pine.
Okay. And do y'all have an order from there?
No, I still do not have those documents.
I've lost those documents. That was 14 years ago.
Mr. Kennedy, were you ordered to pay child support? I think you froze. Mr. Shane, was he ordered to pay child support?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then if he's previously been ordered, I guess he was adjudicated. Let's see. Why are we doing DNA testing if he's been ordered to pay child support? Ms. Lancaster?
He was not given the option to
do DNA back
do
then.
DNA, and they just
They did a default judgment.
yeah.
Because he refused, or I wasn't at court. And then he didn't appeal the saying he was the father or wasn't the father. So the court said he was the father. He had time to appeal it. He didn't appeal it.
So it sounds like we're just cleaning things up.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes. Confirming
Okay,
once and for all.
yeah. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, well, good luck to everybody, and y'all get stuff worked out with the parents. Sounds like that's a plan. but they're gonna, everybody's gonna cooperate, and I'll see y'all in June. Jessica, please raise your hand.
Thank you, Your
Do
Honor.
you swear affirm the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, thank you. This is our first permanency hearing. Let me just make sure everybody's on the next case. I read the reports. This is the one I had, I'm not happy about the kinship funds. Miss Masuda, where's Miss Stricken? She not gonna be here today?
She is on a fabulous trip somewhere. So I will be filling in for her.
Lucky girl. Okay. Kiddos are with mom's friend, doing well there. Mr. Whitney's working. He's got a cool job. He likes it. That's good. Miss Whitten's doing, I mean, it sounds like everything's going good, really. I saw a picture of the house. I don't really know about that, but I wrote down good, progressing. So let's see, Ms. Early, what do you need today?
Judge, let me ask our caseworker. I don't know of anything other than what's in the report. Ms. Inman?
Okay,
Yes.
Inman?
So I did want to request about visitations for dad to be able to transport the children because Miss Witten reported that she's having to get off earlier on their Wednesday visits and that it's affecting her work schedule. So I did put that at the end of the report, but
I saw that.
yes.
Okay. And so Mr. Witten would go pick the girls up and take them to the grandparents or however they do that.
Yes.
Anybody have any objection to that? That was easy. Okay. So I'll just say dad can transport for visits. Anything else, Miss Early?
No, Judge. I don't have anything else.
Okay, Miss Lang, what do y'all need?
We need the status of the psychological for Khaleesi. We need a correction in the court's record, or the department's records. The children are actually located in Comal County, not Blanco County, which is where the current placement is. There should have been a CANS done on both children, and we don't know the results of that. The CPS is, I believe, or CASA may be designated as the education decision maker for the child. And in order for her to get therapy at school, that designee needs to go and advocate for it. Cassie tried to do that and she wasn't allowed to. We want therapy for Jamie. Both parents believe that he would benefit from therapy. They're very anxious to get family therapy started. We would like, Jason still has not been provided the information to get his DNA testing done. That was ordered, I believe. He has started his protected parenting. And in addition to the Wednesday transport, it would be helpful if the individuals or other parties would consider a more liberal application of letting dad do some of the transport. There's a lot of moving parts in that family. If they could just have flexibility to make the things come together, to get the kids where they need to be, to get the food bank visited and supplies for the house. There was also a note in the record, one of the reports, that maybe Jason wasn't taking his medication, but he does take his he's on diabetic medication and also psychotropics. And I know Cassie's taking hers. She understands she needs to provide the department the name of her provider that she's getting her medication through. It's a primary physician, and I've asked her to get that, Heather, to you and to me, and to also make sure she signed releases so that we'll know when she went and has had those renewed. And I'm not sure if y'all need anything else. That's all I'm aware of. Judge, at this time, they're paying $600 in child support. I'd ask for the court to allow that to be modified as soon as those kinship funds come in, and kind of par it off as kinship funds start coming, allow them to have more of their cash back so they can keep buying the things to get the repairs done in the house. They've got electrical to finish, plumbing to finish, drywall, and Jason believes the end of April is a good goal, but it's a lot of work, but they've come a long way. And I was able to visit the home with them.
Hold all those thoughts. Ms. Harris, what do you need?
I just need a copy of the diligent search report. I represent Mr. Witten, has not been located. I haven't been successful at locating him. So I just need to make sure the department's done all their due diligence for me to be able to provide a report to the court. And on that note, Your Honor, I have another hearing starting at 10. Since I have not been able to locate my client, may I be excused?
You're excused. Thank you, Ms. Harris.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Phillips, what do y'all need? Probably ditto what Ms. said.
Basically, Ms. Lane covered nearly everything, pretty much everything. We do need to get the DNA done. Somehow get that in process.
I don't show where I ever ordered any DO. I hold a DNA on Dad and Jamie. What's the status of that, Ms. Inman?
I ordered the DNA. I've not heard back, so I will follow up on that because I've not heard back on the status of.
Yeah, they haven't moved, so their address has been the same. So that ought to be pretty easy to figure out. Any updates on Mr. Witten? Department?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Mr. Witten, I have not been able to locate him either. We're still waiting on the results from the diligent search.
Okay, then you'll be sure and provide that to Ms. Harris when you get it.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Early, he's a presumed father. Ms. Early, I'm gonna go on and order a citation by publication on Mr. Witten. He's a presumed father, and we're at our first permits here, so we might as well go on and get that done.
Okay, we'll do.
We have to do that. Why are we behind on family therapy and Jamie being in therapy?
Location, and opportunity. They live out in Bulverde, and we provided a rather long list. Everybody had waiting lists. So what we did for Khaleesi, and we thought that Khaleesi would be our main focus because of the tension between her and her mom. So we got, I believe, Erin Mendoza, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken, to do virtual sessions kind of back to back with them. And then eventually, hopefully she'd be willing. I mean, Miss Mendoza does recommend in person, but unfortunately they live in such an area that there is just simply no providers where they are. And if they are, they have extensive wait lists. It's unfortunate that Phoenix Center is not closer to them, or we can get that taken care of, but it would just be logistics and
Judge, Miss
Lane, my turn. Bulverde is near New Braunfels, it's near Smithson Valley, it's near Bernie, it's near San Antonio. I mean, Atlanta is a lot more isolated than Bulverde. So I'm going to order Jamie and family therapy, Jamie's therapy and family therapy set up by CPS by 4/15/23. Everybody in the area goes different places to Walmart and H-E-B, and I don't know. I don't get it. What, Ms. Lane?
I'm sorry I interrupted you earlier, Judge, but Ms. Garrett shared with us that they are doing virtual therapy for the children. So I don't know that the department could reach out to them to help with Jamie.
I'm just thinking his age. But we could certainly.
Something's better than nothing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you said being a 7-year-old boy sit still and do some virtual therapy. I've always kind of thought virtual therapy is garbage anyway, but that's just me. Okay, well, we got a deadline. We got about a 2-week deadline, tax day, 4/15. Okay, I'm also going to order that kinship's funds from the beginning of placement today to be paid by placement. I'm so tired. We remove our children. We put them with places that can't afford them, and then it's delay. I don't know what the problem is, but right, you agree with that, don't you?
Yes, Judge, I was asking for back pay all the way back to whenever the home study was approved, because I understand that they started funds for Khaleesi, but Jamie's paperwork was lost. And so there's no funds for Jamie, which this placement, I mean, she needs the funds. And so I've been telling her to keep track of it and that I would ask for retro all the way to the home study approval.
I'm just gonna take from data placement, because home study approval and placement, two different things. Yeah. And Miss Greenberg, you can tell your people, I don't really care. I mean, we ordered this in a Burnett case. I think Miss Lane was gone. I made her stay case closed, but I made her stay on until I made sure that the placement got all the kinship funds, because
And I think we fixed that issue, but it would go back from when the home study started. So we will communicate. I think the snafu, not that that's an excuse, is that they're in a CBC area. And so the communication between us and CBC.
Child support to be reconsidered once the funds are received. I'm not going to change it now because who knows when that'll be.
And Judge, they are up to date on their child support.
I read that in the reports. That's good. Ought to be easier now too. Mr. Whitten's got a good job, so that's a good sign. Okay, so those are the orders I have. Does anybody need anything else? I'm sorry, I forgot to talk to Casa. Miss Masuda, what's up?
Yes, ma'am. This family continues to need a lot of help, particularly the children. Khaleesi's therapy virtually is not going well. She enjoys it. She thinks it's fun, but there's been no real change in behaviors. Mom and Khaleesi definitely need to start family therapy together. And then I would recommend that when the family therapist recommends that Jamie and the father should be introduced. The Phoenix Center, I think Miss Greenberg made a request that the parents do the parenting, and it's pretty intensive parenting at Phoenix Center, which has been very helpful in another case that we have before this court. And we definitely would recommend that they do that. I believe it's all online and they can do it that way. I think it would really help them understand how to address the children's behaviors, because they have gotten really bad since visits have been increased. The behaviors have really escalated. And that's why we're asking. I really feel like in-person family therapy is what's needed. I realize that they are, concerned about the cost of gas to go somewhere in person, but I feel like at this point, it's not just the house that needs to be addressed. It's also just the family dynamics, and they're not going to get better unless these things are addressed. And that's why we're recommending in-person therapy. And, as far as the kinship funds go, Jamie's been added in. I did see that, and I also talked to the kinship worker. He actually reached out to me to ask me if I knew about how the children's behaviors had escalated since the visits had increased. And I said that I had been told that, and that we were requesting family therapy in person to try to get to the bottom of that. But he did tell me that a request had been made for the funds to be backdated on Jamie, and that in April, it was too late for March already, but in April, she would start receiving the funds for both Jamie and Khaleesi, which is still only about $700 a month. It's not a lot. So as far as the child support reduction, when she gets her back pay, then I agree with the court that, we can reconsider it at that point. But my reason for reconsidering it would be so that the parents can have money for gas to drive to in-person family therapy.
Well, I'm going to order in-person therapy anyway. There's no way you can do family therapy with this amount of people online. I mean, it's going to be like a court date. That's just crazy. No.
So that's really all I have, Judge.
Okay. And I'm going to also order the parents to complete the Phoenix Center parent course. That's a good idea, Miss Masuda. Miss Ross.
Which course? I'm sorry.
It's called the CPRT, the Child Parent Relationship Therapy. Is that the one, Judge? The 10-week course? It's virtual.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, just keeping in mind the time. They lots of time involved with all of this. So, I'm
You
just
know what?
being,
I don't really care. You know, I mean, we're not the reason that we're here. I mean, had the house been picked at, had the place been habitable, we wouldn't have been here. So I don't know. Figure it out. And these kids are, 7 and 8 and went to school smelling bad. No. Obviously, a lot of parenting is needed. Miss Wright, what do you need?
Judge, just briefly. So visiting with the children, they said, when they first started having these extended visits at the grandparents, they were doing things and having fun, but now they just sit and look at play on their parents' phones. And so I would just ask that the parents interact with them and you don't have to take them, I know cost is an issue, but take them to the park. There's lots of free things to do. But they don't need to just be sitting at the phones. And I am concerned about the behaviors escalating after the visits. It sounds like, I think just getting to the bottom of the parent-child relationship in family therapy is going to help those behaviors afterwards, but we're not. Khaleesi told us her therapist's name was something else. It wasn't Aaron. So I don't even know. I don't think that's going well.
Miss Wright, the visits, did I say they had to be at the grandparents' house?
yes.
Because they can't go to their house.
But do the grandparents have to supervise?
Yes. Sort of. There kind of are some hybrid things. I would be okay if the parents took them, for a couple hours to do something so that they're not just sitting there playing on the phones.
Well, here's one thing I'm going to order. And y'all know I hate all these kids that are addicted to these phones and everything. No electronics used during visits, period, number one. I'm tired of people using phones and pads and as babysitters. We all grew up with books and playing outside and getting dirty and, just dealing with animals or whatever, no. That, and the kids get addicted to them, and then when the parents take them away, all hell breaks loose, No. If the place, they probably get enough of that. They probably get to use their electronics when they're at the placement, and that's fine. But, if I have my kids on a visit, I want to hang out and do stuff with them,
And I wouldn't be opposed to them having time with their kids, part of the time unsupervised by the grandparents. I don't think that's a big issue at this point.
Your Honor, is there any possible, or I would like the court's insight on whether or not mom can transport Khaleesi to and from these in-person family therapy sessions? That'll be not really a visitation necessarily, but I don't see why, if we're allowing unsupervised time, why that can't be something that we can entertain.
She's the main breadwinner. She's the one working and making the most money for that household. She's going to therapy. She's back and forth. She's there putting the kids to bed, reading to them, which is doing all the mommy things. So y'all, you need to sit down and really write down everything that we're doing and not distract from how far we've come. We've got some distance to go, but this family, it's a whole family dynamic. And my client struggles, she's learning and growing as a mother, and she doesn't want to feel like she's making her child's behavior get worse from being with her. She's wanting the therapy. They're trying very, very hard. And I'm just, y'all are just understand and be a little insightful. And Judge, I know, they created the situation we're here, but they've come a great distance from the beginning of this case. And we need to encourage them.
I'm going to say visits as agreed by CPS and ad litem's. And so y'all can agree to sandwich visit. Y'all can agree to supervise. I don't care. But I want everybody to remain in Blanco County. I can think of about 5 places to go in Blanco County that are free or not. The exotic zoo is not that expensive. And sometimes they have coupons. They got the science mill. They got all kind of parks. That river in Blanco is really pretty. Walk around the square. Go play ball somewhere.
Can you include Kamal, Judge? Because they're right on the border of Kamal. The kids are actually in Kamal and they're in Blanco.
Okay. Well, then that adds a whole different, aspect to it. Okay. Because it says agreed by CPS and ad litem's. And I think getting out house. I mean, it's getting to be, pretty weather, and that's wonderful.
Kids
Okay.
allowed to go over and look at the house and see the progress on it. So far, they've been told they weren't allowed to go see the house.
I don't know about that. That can be as agreed by CPS and Atlanta. That would be like a visit. Jamie in therapy by 4/15/23 set up by CPS. In-person family therapy set up by CPS also by that same time. All prior kinship funds from the beginning of placement to date are to be paid by placement. Citation by publication of Mr. Whitten. Child support to be considered once kinship funds are received. Parents successfully complete Phoenix Center parenting course. No electronics used during visits. Visits is agreed by CPS and items that are to remain in Blanco County and Comal County. Lawyers, Casa, do y'all agree that future hearings can be heard via Zoom, or do y'all need to be in person?
Zoom.
Okay. Okay, anybody need anything else? Okay, parents, y'all have a service plan. You got to comply. Your parental rights can be subject to termination. Despite the way the hearing kind of went, I think things are going well. And we're getting there. This is not going to be something going to happen overnight regarding the house, regarding the relationship with the kiddos. It's going to take a while, but we're making baby steps. Well, we're making like teenage steps. So we're getting there. So I feel positive. We can get this therapy going and get this kinship thing going up. Y'all are going to start having some unsupervised visits. I mean, I know y'all probably aren't excited. You're excited about that, but it's kind of like, well, why? But we're at our first permanency hearing. We're pretty soon into this case. And y'all are way ahead of tons and tons of cases if y'all are already getting unsupervised visits. So that's good. Okay, remember, you got your service plan. You got to comply, etc. Your parental rights can be subject to termination. Okay, we'll see y'all. Our next hearing is June 22nd. Second permanency hearing and an extension. Miss Kinsler, I forget you're on this case. Good to see you. Let's see,
I'm just standing in for Miss Cochran Green, Your Honor.
Oh, okay. Well, good. Miss Bridges, thank you for coming. And I saw you filed, you made a report. That's good. Okay. I read everything. The girls are on monitored return with Miss Yolanda. Things are going well there with the girls, and mom, and she's working hard. And Mr. Gonzalez is doing I think he's doing some counseling. I read that he had to reschedule his OSAR evaluation, so I don't know if that happened.
It did, Judge.
It did, okay, good. And I can tell y'all, I think we're going to go to mediation. I thought about that. I didn't write it down on my file, but I was thinking during the night, we need to go to mediation. So we're going to go back to mediation. I know y'all mediated last time or previously before the extension, but I can't remember who y'all's mediator was. Y'all remember?
It was Mr. Grove.
Grove.
Okay.
We'd like someone else.
Yeah, he's not on my list anymore. So let's go in breakout room real quick and discuss that, if y'all don't mind. I don't want to talk about that on YouTube. Okay. Miss Trinidad, if you can send lawyers and me and Casa breakout room. Y'all, I'm sorry we were gone for a while. We were gone because we were waiting on hearing back from a mediator. I wanted to get the date like carved in stone, not this by blah, blah, blah date deadline. So we had to do text and emails and stuff back and forth to get a date. I'm going to order this case to mediation with Angela Dowdle. All the lawyers in Casa look at their schedule, and we look at the mediator's schedule, and they're available to mediate on 5/8/23. I don't know the time. Probably we need to probably start in the morning at about 10 o'clock. When y'all are setting the time, Miss Lang and Miss Kinsler, remind Miss Dowdle that she has 2 land passes cases. Maybe she could get somebody to fill in for her. I think on one, I know that the parents are aligned, and I don't know the other case. So anyway, just a reminder, it probably needs to start at 10. Okay, as to the girls and the father, Cadence is to begin family therapy with Mr. Gonzalez, with Tina Nunley, with Whitney Bridges' consistency recommendations as set forth in her report. That is to begin on 3/26/23. I would prefer that to be weekly. Then Cassandra Incorporated per Tina and Whitney Bridges' recommendations. Okay. So that will work there. And that's all, of course, we'll do visits, assume, we still have to do the clean UAs. I know there's been some prescriptions. That's okay, because there's prescription, notifications still got to be in compliance with our service plan and, having the clean UAs and all that, because if Mr. test or there's a problem, then we got to do the 3 clean consecutive UA deal. Mr. Gonzalez is to provide the sex offender registration information to CPS in the items by 3/30/23, so y'all can have that information available since it's newly discovered evidence. Lawyers, Casa, do y'all need anything else today?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
All good, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Kinsler, you good? You're muted.
We're good, Judge. We just, I believe it goes without saying, Your Honor, that Your Honor has reviewed the permanency plans that have been filed, and you are you're accepting the recommendation that the department remain the temporary managing conservator of the child.
Yes, ma'am. I did review all those, and that's agreed. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, could we have another hair strand on Dad? Would that be possible?
Okay, with the results back by 5/8/23.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
I'm going to order hair strand on both parents. I think that's fair. What did somebody just say?
We said, why not? That's a great idea, Judge.
Okay. Okay. Mom and dad hair strand per CPS with results back before mediation. Final trial is 5/25. The lawyers and CASA have agreed that it can be heard via Zoom. Parents, I think everybody seems to be, while we were waiting, getting our calendar for the mediation, everybody seems to be optimistic that we can get this case settled in mediation. This is a good case that we need to settle in mediation, because in mediation, y'all can agree to things that I can't order. And if I have to order stuff, it's just bam, 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 what's in the family code. Y'all can be creative. Y'all can be out of the box. Y'all can do all kind of cool things in mediation. And I want Ms. Bridges to be, when y'all go to mediation, if y'all need to talk to Ms. Bridges, you might want to write that on your calendar in case they need to contact you or something, because my opinion, I wasn't there, obviously, but I know we went to mediation before, and I'm not sure that the counselors were consulted during that mediation or about the MSA or anything like that. And I think that's been, in my opinion, y'all have your own opinions, but I think that's been a big hindrance in this case so far. So anyway, that's that. Final trial, like I said, is 5/25/23. And y'all have service plans, got to comply. Your parental rights be subject to termination, monitor return with Miss Yoli's going well. And y'all keep up the good work. Okay? I'm keeping my fingers crossed. The department is here, thank y'all, represented by Mr. Raphael Tovar, Ms. Jacinta Mouton, and their lawyer, Ms. Kim Ashby. The mom, Ms. Jennifer Ann Negbin, is here, represented by Ms. Becky Lang. The alleged father is Mr. Sean Lopez. He's not here, but his attorney, Ann Little's here. Kaylin is obviously not here, but he's represented by Mr. Tommy Phelps, who is here. And CASA, Judy Keller. Where's Judy Keller, Miss Masuda?
There's no advocate on this case. It's just me. Judy Keller was on Lockhart. Did I put her name on the report?
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Judith Keller and Amy Masuda next to it. Okay.
Okay, my bad.
Amy Masuda is a CASA. So, Miss Ashby, you may begin, please.
All right, Your Honor. Well, this afternoon, we would like to terminate the alleged father, Sean Lopez, and dismiss the case and return the child to Mrs. Nepkin.
Okay, so really all we need to do is just put on some paternity registry evidence about alleged father type stuff. So that sounds good. You may begin.
All right, I'll call my first witness, Rafael Tovar.
Wait, please.
Mr. Tovar, are you the caseworker on this case?
Yes, I am.
And can you tell me, have you done a search for Sean Lopez?
Yes, the department has completed a diligent search for Mr. Sean Lopez as well as CFE with CASA. We've tried to locate Mr. Lopez through letters and phone calls to the numbers that were listed on his diligent search and through the CFE. And we have not been able to locate him at this time.
And the paternity search was also done of the paternity registry?
Yes, ma'am.
That's part of your diligent search?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had any contact from anybody who claims to be Sean Lopez or who knows Sean Lopez?
No, ma'am, I have not.
And do you think it would be in the child's best interest to terminate the rights of the alleged father, Sean Lopez?
I do.
And have you had the opportunity to visit with the child?
I have repeatedly since monitored return.
And how is the monitored return going with?
It's going fantastic. I've made essentially nothing but unannounced visits weekly and bi-weekly since the monitored return has started. And every time I'm there, he's clearly very bonded to Miss Nepkin. He will, it's to a point now to where he'll hide behind her leg, and because he doesn't recognize me as much anymore. And it's been just so great watching him grow and develop in such a healthy way, and watching him go from walking to now he's kind of sprint waddling. And Ms. Nepkin has been doing a fantastic job on ensuring that all of his needs have been met.
That's all the questions I have of Mr. Tovar right now, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Lang, Ms. Little, do you have any questions of Mr. Tovar?
I do not.
I do. Rafael, are you familiar with the little man's brother? He has an older sibling, is that right?
Yes, he does.
And has he had an opportunity to spend some time with him?
Yes, he's been having visitations on the weekends with, or Ms. Nepkin really as a whole has been really connected back with her family again. And so he's been able to see his half brother. And ultimately, I feel like that, if not now, but in the very near future, she really will be able to rely on her family as a strong support. And I know that Ms. Nepkin reports that her mother has, last time I talked to her, is trying to turn Kaylin against her by giving him food and snacks.
She's a grandmother.
So, but I think that the relationship and the dynamic they have in their family is heading to a very healthy avenue right now.
Have you ever seen Jennifer interacting with Kaylin and his older brother? Have you seen them all together?
I have not had the pleasure.
Okay. And do you have any reason to believe that Jennifer doesn't have the ability to meet the mental, physical, emotional, psychological needs of Kaylin? Any concerns with that?
I have no concerns. I feel like that mom is what I would call a super mom. I mean, I feel like that she's completed everything that CPS has asked her to do and then some. And on top of that, she's done it all by herself. And I feel like there's nothing that Kaylin could throw at her that she wouldn't be able to handle.
You said she's done it all by herself, but has it been your experience that she's also sought out some resources in the community on her own, and she's been diligent about solving problems on her own? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you been able to secure the hard copy of the Social Security card for her?
That was requested back in December, but as of right now, I still haven't gotten anything in the mail yet for him.
So what is your advice for her at this time? Should she just go on her own and try to get it?
I feel like that would probably be her best avenue at this point.
Okay. And does she have a plan for Kaylin's future?
Yes, she does. Right now, I know it's to remain kind of in where she's at, but I know that there was some discussion about maybe trying to move somewhere in the very near future, of course. And I feel like that, again, that Miss Nepkin, no matter what life throws at her, she's going to be ready for it.
I pass the witness, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
I have no further
Okay.
questions.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Ashby, next witness, please.
My next witness is going to be Amy Masuda.
Okay, please, thank you.
Ms. Masuda, have you visited with the child recently?
Yes, ma'am. I visited with him every month, either in person or by video.
And does the child seem to be bonded with his mother?
Absolutely. They're both very bonded to each other. And it's very apparent when I visit that Kaylin is crazy about his mom. So.
And do you have any concerns with the department terminating its case and leaving the child with Jennifer Nebgen?
Not at all. The only concerns I had previously were that she had a support system in place, and she has worked very hard to regain that support system with her family. She has a lot of, good community support. I've spoken with her support person that's with the Blanco County EMS. I've also spoken with the daycare for Kaylin, and they're have nothing but great things to say about mom and how Kaylin is doing. So no concerns whatsoever.
And so would it be your recommendation that Kaylin stay with Jennifer Nebgen and that department dismiss the case and everybody be released from the case?
Absolutely.
And have you made any efforts to locate Sean Lopez?
Yes, myself and David Fowler of our office did a lot of research through our CFE program. We weren't able to actually find him, and that was also in conjunction with Ms. Nebgen's cooperation. We never could find actual phone numbers or addresses or anything like that. We did uncover some pretty disturbing information online about his affiliations that looked very dangerous. There were small children in posts with guns and drugs and lots of piles of cash. And it was not something that I ever feel Kaylin should ever be exposed to based on that research.
And that was on Facebook?
That was Facebook. And then I'm not sure exactly what all programs Mr. Fowler used, but he does have several programs at his disposal.
And when you found the person that you thought was Mr. Lopez, did you try to reach out to him via Facebook?
Yes, we did, sent through Facebook Messenger, and I believe that it's been a while, but I believe that we showed the pictures that we found to Ms. Nebgen, and she identified him as Sean Lopez. So we knew that that was him, and we did try to reach out to him and contact him, but had no means other than just trying to get him through Facebook. So
he never responded to you or made any attempt to contact you about his son?
No, ma'am.
And do you believe it would be in Kaylin's best interest to terminate the alleged father, Sean Lopez's rights?
Yes.
That's all I have for this witness, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Masuda? No? Okay, thank you. Next witness, Ms. Ashby.
I have no further witnesses, Your Honor, but I would ask the court to take judicial notice of the paternity search that has been filed with the court.
I saw that y'all e-filed it this week, so we'll take judicial notice of that paternity registry that's filed and all the pleadings filed in cause number 9162.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay,
Oh,
thank
Your
you.
Honor, I would also ask court to take judicial notice of the service on Mr. Lopez that was done via publication, the affidavit of publication.
Oh, y'all did that? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, and what was the date that it was put in the newspaper, if you know, Ms. Ashby?
I do not know offhand, Your Honor. I can check real quick.
You got the publisher's affidavit back, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll just take judicial notice of it. And
Thank you,
so
Your Honor.
citation by publication was successfully served on Mr. Lopez. Ms. Lang, any witnesses?
I'd just like to call Ms. Nebgen, please.
Okay.
Jennifer, you want to unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you heard the testimony provided by both Casa, Miss Amy, and by Raphael about you and your plans for Mr. Kaylin and the future. And is there anything else you want to tell the court with regards to your ability to meet the needs of this child, and that it's in his best interest for him to live with you forever and ever, and us, the department, to get out of your life?
I mean, there's really nothing additional that I can share except, I mean, I have plans of enrolling him into, like recreational sports when he turns 2, because that's the minimum age I can do it in. I'm going to continue rebuilding that relationship with my family. My older son adores the baby. He adores Kaylin. My family is really taken to him. And it's just been a really enjoyable experience to have him at home. I remember like the first time I got to have him at home, for that overnight visit, I cried so hard giving him back to the caregivers because I knew that that's what life could be like. And so we're just in the process now of, adjusting to some sleep regression at 15 months because he's going through a growth spurt. I have no issues providing for my child. It's just been a blessing. And I appreciate it.
Well, you've done all the hard work. So you also heard testimony about Mr. Sean Lopez. And can you tell the court when the last time it was that you had contact with him?
Back in March of 2021, or it was the year that I got pregnant. It was shortly after that I got pregnant that I didn't realize I was pregnant and I had no longer had spoken to him.
Okay. And today you affirmed that you don't have a phone number for him. You've had no family members that you're able to contact him through or anything. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you believe it's in the best interest of Kaylin that any rights, if he has them, would be terminated with regards to Kaylin?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, that's all the questions I have. I would ask the court to make the interlocutory order that was entered on October the 27th as to Mr. Lawrence Nebgen, who's still married to Jennifer, become a permanent order of the court, and it was terminating his rights.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions, Ms. Nebgen?
Just briefly, Your Honor.
Excuse me, you did, Mr. Phillips?
This Thomas, yeah.
Okay.
Ms. Napkin, where's Kaylin in daycare now?
He's in daycare.
And how long has he been there?
I would say since the middle of February. He was transferred over when we had that ice storm. So I would say the middle of February.
Okay. And you've been very happy with that placement, or not placement, but okay.
Oh yes,
and,
absolutely.
And when this case first started, you and your parents and your oldest son, how old is your oldest son?
He is 13, going on 14 this year.
And when this first started, y'all did not have neither your son nor your parents had a really good relationship. That'd be a correct statement?
That is correct.
Okay. But recently y'all have all kind of worked past the problems, and maybe Kaylin has probably been a catalyst to get everybody involved.
Absolutely. That happened around July. The boys got to meet for the first time, and over time with, showing my family or discussing with them, the progress that I've made, it's been easier to be like, hey, let's spend some time together as a family, whether it's, through dinners or just a few hours on the weekend. Taking him to Dairy Queen to go see my mom and grab like a scoop of ice cream, that kind of thing.
And you feel that everything is going well, and you're ready to get everybody out of your hair?
Absolutely.
I'm starting to agree with that. I'll pass the witness.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Phelps. Anybody else? Ms. Nebgen, where are you working now?
I work remotely from home for ASM research.
Okay. And do your parents have custody of your older child?
They do.
Okay. And they live locally also?
A mile up the road.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, great. Okay, thank you. Ms. Lang, any more witnesses?
No, ma'am. I'm good. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of Ms. Nebgen. I want her to follow up with me, and we'll think about getting her a divorce.
That sounds like a good plan also. Ms. Little, do you have any witnesses or anything you'd like to add?
No, Your Honor, other than the fact that I've done an independent search trying to locate Mr. Lopez and have been unable to locate him and have heard nothing from him.
Did you file your report?
I don't believe I did.
Okay, but you'll get it filed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I think that'd be good just to cover yourself. You know what I mean?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Miss Little, I think you were appointed in a Burnett case to represent somebody by the same name, weren't you?
No, it was a different Lopez. I believe it was.
Okay.
It was a, yeah. And he was the alleged father in two different cases, so they're getting.
He was busy.
It was the same one in all three cases, so okay.
He's industrious, Judge.
Well, hey, you know, that's a nice way of putting it. Yes, so, okay. Okay, Ms. Masood, anything else you would like to add?
No, ma'am, just, he's doing great. Jennifer's just been amazing, and I'm just really happy that this case had this successful outcome. It's been a pleasure knowing Jennifer and Kaylin.
Okay, great. Mr. Phelps, you've been attorney ad litem the whole time and been on the case. What's up?
Just, you know, I primarily observed this case through the caseworkers, not the caregivers. But from where this case started and what it looked like was probably going to happen initially, it has really turned around, and I can really do nothing but praise Ms. Neptune for the change she's made in her life and what she's done for her son.
Okay, great.
You know,
Thank you.
I strongly recommend that they go home. She stay at home. He stay at home.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, based on the past history, and you know, before our case got involved, I think that everybody's right. Miss Jennifer has come a long, long, long way. You know, you look like a different person, ma'am. I mean, you really do. And that's got to be a good sign and make you feel good about yourself. And, you know, that you and your family have been reunified, and your boys can hang out together. I know they're like big age difference, but that's still, you know, it's still, Caleb probably thinks his big brother's the coolest thing in the world. So, or when he's able to talk about it, he will. So we know everybody's real proud of you, and I want you to continue on the good work, and we don't want to see you again in court. Okay. Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to find by clear and convincing evidence that termination of the alleged father, Sean Lopez's parental rights, if any even exist, are in Kaylin's best interest pursuant to Texas Family Code Chapter 160 and 161. Therefore, Mr. Lopez's parental rights, like I said, if any exist, are terminated. I'm going to name Ms. Jennifer Nebgen as Kaylin's permanent managing conservator with all rights and duties set forth in the excuse me, Texas Family Code. I'm going to order the interlocutory order previously entered into on 10/27/22 against Mr. Nebgen. I'll get it right one of these days. Nebgen is hereby made a final order. So he's, you know, that's all lumped into the same order. Once that all is being said, CASA, CPS, Mr. Phelps, y'all have done a great job representing Mr. Kaylin, and Miss Lang, you with the mom, Miss a little with the Mr. Lopez. So we appreciate y'all's work. Y'all are released from further representation. And Miss Nepkin, the best news you want to hear, this case is closed. So, yay. Congratulations. No more settings, no nothing. I'll take it off the docket. So
see my number.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get divorced. Like Miss Lane said, that's the best thing. Get divorced. Because if you have more babies, he's still the presumed father. You know, we got to deal with that. Or you, not we, because we're not going to see you. You got. Okay. Well, good luck to everybody. Thank y'all. Ms. Greenwell, thank you. We're still working.